Latifah, and you're watching ZTV on the Higher Learning Network.
We love you on Windy City Live. Yes, we do. Tell us, how did all this happen? How did this come about?
Well, I play me. I play Val Warner in Chirac, which is really cool. So when people see this movie, they are literally seeing Val, and I am a reporter in the movie.
We talk about the violence, but what can we do personally?
I think we got to be engaged, and I think engaged in a number of things. In our block, in our home, in our neighborhood, we got to be engaged. We got to fight the issues. We got to fight a government that is abandoned, whole communities on the south and the west side. We got to fight a governor who's cut out every youth employment program, who's cut out violence prevention programs, who's abandoned our communities and the poor and the vulnerable. And I think we got to reach out to our brothers on the street and love them and respect them and help them, not just demonize them.
I'll just say like this. First of all, give you the history of coming to Chicago and telling my jokes as a young cat. I'm 37 now. I started about almost 15 years ago. Elroy taking me under his wing, letting me do some jokes here and there for the radio stations and all that kind of stuff.
I learned that no matter what you do and how much of a genuine heart you have, and if you're coming from a good place, people are going to criticize if they don't agree with what you're doing.
Yo, what's up? It's your man Tony Schofield from 106.3 Chicago's R&B, and you are watching Men on Higher Learning. Now, I used to hang around with some men that was into some higher learning. It just wasn't that kind of higher learning, but I got myself together now, okay?
What is it that you do in your quiet time, in your meditation time, that allows you to bring us the films that you do?
I sit courtside in Madison Square Garden, world's most famous arena.
Grand Rising, and thank you so much for joining me. I'm your host, ZeldaSpeaks, the stressologist. Any stress in your life? Well, most of us do. Unfortunately, we don't know what to do with that stress, especially as it relates to worry. I was once a worried about everything, and I finally figured it out with some training. Yeah, I've been certified with the American Society of Training and Development, National Speakers Association, and a host of others. But none of those organizations helped me stop worrying. They just gave me validation for the public to see what credentials I have. So the credentials I have now are from life experience, and I've learned how not to worry. And you can learn how not to worry too, because it is indoctrinated in us to worry. We don't have the answers, so we think the worst is going to happen. Well, I got a solution to that, and that is the Worry Workshop. So I'm going to pull that up for you on my blog. Why do you worry when you don't have to? Go to my blog, ZeldaSpeaks.wordpress.com, and you can sign up right there and find out how you. And remember, sharing is caring. If you care about yourself and your loved ones, help them see their way out of a mess. Give them the gift. It makes a great birthday gift. It makes a great holiday gift. So instead of running to the store getting something that they really might not need, give them a worry-free life. Give them the gift of a worry-free existence. And thanks for sharing. Make it a great day.
We are one. On this earth, we are one.
The Female Solution Global Radio TV Show invites you to an invigorating conversation with our team of hosts Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. Start your week with Monday Morning Mindfulness with Zelda Speaks. Tuesdays, Self-Cell Care with Jody Susan. Wednesdays, Repairing Broken Families with Naima Latif and co-host Kareem Hamid. Thursdays, Soulful Solutions with Dr. Debbie Green. And Fridays, Health and Well-Being with Beata. Saturdays, tune in 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central Time. First Saturday, Success Strategies with Jana. Second Saturday, Wendy Williams Esquire on relationships. Third Saturday, Move Around with Deborah. And fourth Saturday, Wisdom with Mama D. Join us Sundays, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time for Soul Purpose Healing with Beata. Call in and comment 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak to the host and be a part of the solution.
Grand Rising. And thank you so much for joining us today. I'm your host, ZeldaSpeaks. Welcome to Monday Morning Mindfulness. And today's topic is why you need to learn Chinese with Zoe Ma. And she'll be joining us after the 7:30 hour. Right here on blogtalkradio.com, The Female Solution, and on the Higher Learning Network TV show channel. So be sure and share this information. If today is your birthday, we're celebrating it with you. Happy birthday, born day to you. And let this special day be a day of learning something new and something that you can apply in your life. And I think Chinese might be the subject to help you. So be sure and stay tuned. If you're listening online, you can call in at 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak. And excuse me, if you're watching us on our social media, be sure and check out our YouTube and Facebook channel, Higher Learning TV Show. I know I talk too fast. Higher Learning TV Show. Nothing like a good cup of tea first thing in the morning as we excuse me, are about to start the day. It is imperative that we spend some time alone. And you know what that means, right? That means it is time for your Monday morning mindfulness meditation. But before we do that, if you are one of those who have to head out this morning, you want to always allow yourself some extra time if you're headed out in the morning, because this is the world that we live in, and there's always some chaos and some confusion going on. So you just want to allow yourself a little extra time before you head out the door this morning. That's why we bring you Traffic, which is the show is sponsored by itex.com. If you are an entrepreneur or a business owner and you have a product or a service to offer to the public, then you just might want to be a member of iTex. It's free to join, and you get a $100 coupon to start immediately. Once you sign up, you get $100 to go shopping, and all you have to do is do what? Mention my name, Zelda. And I always say Zelda, giving honor to those who came before me to make my way possible. That would be Richard Pagee. We just sign off at Dusty Radio 1390. people could never remember my name, so they would call me anything but Zelda. They call me Zelma, Zella, Zella, anything but Zelda. So Richard would always say Zelda, so that they would get it. And I do that to honor the ancestors, those who came before us to make our way possible. If you are one of those people who has to be out and about this morning, you do want to allow yourself some extra time, because this is the time of the year in which the day, the week, that we are often on, what do we call it, automatic pilot. And that is not where you want to be when you are driving. You want to be conscious. So let me help you get conscious right about now. Outside today, only 22 degrees right now, up to 32 degrees today, but it's going to be cloudy and breezy. Expect 2 to 4 inches. I didn't say that. That's what they said. We've been asking for snow, and we finally got some, and now we don't want it. So be careful what you ask for in the world, because you just might get it. As we take a look at the expressways, be reminded, if you want to go anywhere in the US of A and out of the country as well, you can always go to itex.com and you can travel for free. We've been to, I can tell you how many places we've been to, and got a car, or actually it was a truck, and a van, it wasn't a truck, and whatever you can think of that you need, it's available on iTex. And there's the website right there, iTex, chicago.itex.com. So there are no reported delays on Metro, but CTA, that's another story. At 31st and Sister Road, there's an accident, so you can expect delays on the inbound side. Inbound on the Kennedy, excuse me, there's 21:18 on the outbound. On the Edens inbound, it's 27:21 on the reverse. On the Eisenhower, 29 minutes, your usual delays. Slow at Manheim on the outbound. On the Stevenson inbound, it's 18. And at 31st and Pulaski, there's an accident, so expect delays. There's 21. On the day in Ryan, 18, your usual delays, 35th to 95th, and 12 on the reverse. On the Bishop 4, 18 in and 11 minutes out. On the inbound, there's an accident, crash at 135th Street, so expect delays if you're traveling in that area. On Lakeshore Drive, it is 10 minutes in both directions. And that is your traffic and weather, sponsored by Karen Kelly of iTex.com. Be sure and use the promo code ZELDA to get your discount. And if you can't remember that, just remember everything is always on our blog at HLN-TV.blogspot.com. And remember to set those DVRs for the Higher Learning Network TV show, which airs Tuesdays at 6, Wednesdays at 1 on Channel 19. And you can see the show 24/7. Now, if you are like most of us who have been shut in for a while, in America, we have a tendency to overeat. We just eat up everything. And some of us gain a little weight, gain a few diseases that come along with it. Mine was diabetes. What was yours? I did not know. I digress sometimes. I'm watching the movie last night on Netflix, the story of Ella Fitzgerald. I did not know that she died of complications of diabetes. Had no idea. So I said that to say this. And she lived into her, I think she was 79, and she performed for 70 years, 7 decades. Can you believe that? You really got to love what you're doing. I just love that about Ella Fitzgerald. So if you ever want to see the story about her, very, very, very enlightening. Go to Netflix. That's where I saw that. Ella Ella Fitzgerald. Be glad you did. Anyway, I said all that to say this. Chances are you may be a diabetic and not even know it. I was diabetic, pre-diabetic for 10 years. 10 years. It's a little long. Could have died, but I didn't. So what I did do, my sister shared a drink with me, and I'm sharing it with you. And it's called, I call them a detox drink. Apple, beet, cucumber, lemon, ginger, kale, and turmeric. 7 ingredients. And you can go to diabeticdonut.com and you will see the information. It's a free download, so all you have to do is go there. And I want to put that up so you can see it. Diabetic, can't even spell diabetic donut. I had it up here, I don't know where it went to, but I want you to see that because people always tell me, well, I can't find it. Well, if you go to diabeticdonut.com, it's been there for the last 10 years. I don't know where you've been, but go to diabeticdonut.com. There's a free download on how to reverse type 2 diabetes. And remember to check out the blog on on a blog talking about the Global Virtual Teen Talent Contest. Now, that contest is coming up this Saturday, and we can't do it alone. We need your help. And thank you for your past help of making this available for our teens, because we offer them prizes and scholarships and cash, things of that nature, to help them. Children are having a hard time, and we want to help them as much as we possibly can. So we started the contest when we had to pivot for COVID back in the day, because children need an outlet to express themselves. That's why you hear about all these carjackings and things of that nature. Children they may have not had what we had coming up, and that's the village. They don't have the village. Not that they do not have the village. And we are responsible for the next generation of children. So we ask that you continue to support the Global Virtual Teen Talent Contest. And there's the information floating there on the bottom. And it is Saturday, 12 noon until 1 p.m. So thank you for joining us and for supporting the kids. And remember that you are the village. Whether you want to be or not, you are that village. And speaking of the village of Mike House is excuse me, I'm on the list for his daily inspiration. And today's inspiration is the past is the past. Put that old thought pattern down. Okay now. I have a frog in my throat. I don't know why, but it's there. So right about now, I'm going to share with you Monday morning mindfulness meditation. I had to look at that one again. The past is the past. Monday, January 23rd, 2023. Put that old thought down. Why are you thinking it again? Shake that old feeling off. It didn't feel good the last time, and it certainly won't feel good now. This is the past. You now have the gift of the present, a clear, unlimited space where you can create that which you desire. You are not the same person you were yesterday or even earlier today. Whatever you did or did not do then is in the past, and now you have an opportunity to choose again. As long only you are holding yourself hostage to what was, and as long as you do, you will attract others who will remind you of what was. Wow, that's powerful. Let me say that again. Only you are holding yourself hostage to what was. And as long as you do, you will attract others who will remind you of what was. Wow. If you like the past, then give thanks for it because there's even better. If you did not like the past, still give thanks for it because now you are better in your understanding and in your behavior. This is a new moment, and this is an opportunity to begin again in the present. Once do you have, excuse me, once you do a new thing, you have shifted your energy and vibration from the past to experience the new. Remember, not the former things, nor consider the things of old. And that's from Isaiah 43 and 18. Inspirational conversation on Higher Learning Network. And now it is time for your Monday morning mindfulness meditation. And you can always get meditation when you are one of the ones who know the truth. Monday morning mindfulness meditation. Sometimes I forget how to spell. I know you're not one of those people, but I sometimes forget. Okay. You know what that means, right? It is now time for you to get centered and have an experience that you probably won't get unless you train yourself to be the very best you can be and be okay with wherever you are in life. Why is that up there? That's your free download. That's why it's up there. So be sure and go check it out. But right now, it is time for Monday morning mindfulness meditation. So let us begin the process of breathing in a way that can help us become better at who we are. So let us begin the process by simply sitting up straight in a chair. If you're lying down, that's fine too. But whatever you are, wherever you are, let's just do a stretch. How about that? Let's just stretch. Oh, just like a cat does when they wake up in the morning. They simply stretch and turn from side to side. Yeah, give those inner organs a little movement this morning. Yeah. And stretch. Ooh, that feels good. Especially if you've been lying in the bed all night. You do want to stretch. And as we stretch, we give thanks for the power that is within, that is always guiding, guarding, and protecting us. So what we will do is breathe in through the nose and breathe out. And when we breathe out, we're going to let it out. Breathe in through the nose, hold it, and exhale. And when we exhale, we'll let it out, blow it out, because it releases the tension in the body. And I feel it immediately. If you take a long, deep breath, you'll feel it immediately. So let us begin the process simply by closing your eyes and focusing on the breath. Not on me, but on the breath, on your breathing. Feel your chest expand. That's what I want you to do. So inhale deeply. Let us begin the process. And as you focus on the sound, paying attention to the breath, that's all that is necessary for Monday morning mindfulness, is to simply breathe in, hold it, and breathe out. As we give thanks for the presence of life in us, through us, and around us in the form of the breath. We are grateful. We are one of the ones who can awaken, who can breathe on their own. Because someone somewhere is unable to breathe on their own. And as your thoughts continue to wander, this is simply a reminder to bring them back into focus as we give thanks for the power of the breath. And as we continue to breathe in and breathe out, we give thanks that we are at the right place, at the right time, doing the right thing. Because it is the breath that will keep us in times of chaos and confusion. As we breathe in and breathe out, we give thanks for the power of the breath. And this is the process that we use in order to activate the power that is within us. And how do we do that? We simply breathe in and we simply breathe out. Inhale deeply. Inhale deeply. Hold it. And exhale. And as we continue to breathe in and breathe out, you will see that we are in the process of Monday morning mindfulness, where we meditate to activate. We meditate to activate the power within, because the powers that be don't want you to be this strong. They want you to be dependent upon them. They want you to be dependent on this AI, this artificial intelligence that we are experiencing every day. That's what they want you to tap into. But here on Monday morning mindfulness, we tap into the power that is within and we meditate to activate. And what you are seeing are the t-shirts, because we know what the wealthy designers know. And that is, when you meditate, you activate the power that is within. And this is one of my favorites. Inhale, God, the Spirit, whatever you choose to call it. And exhale, evil forces. Let's do that together. Inhale deeply. Inhale the spirit of that creator, whatever you choose to call it, and blow it out. Oh. Exhale the evil forces. Inhale the spirit that is within you. And exhale evil forces. Blow it out. Once more. Inhale the spirit that is within you. And exhale the evil forces. And let's try another one. Everybody loves this one. Let us inhale wealth and exhale debt. Yes, let's do that one more time. Inhale wealth and exhale debt. One more. Inhale wealth and exhale debt. And this is just a small reminder of what's available for you on our blog at at hlntv.blogspot.com. And you can go there and support the Global Virtual Teen Talent Contest. And all donations are tax deductible. As we inhale and exhale, let us give thanks for the power of the breath. And we take that breath as we stretch once more. Inhale once more. And as we exhale, blow it out. Inhale deeply. Bringing that breath to the top of the head, down through the face and the shoulders as we rotate those shoulders forward and backwards. We give thanks for the power of the body of movement because someone somewhere is unable to move on their own. Someone doesn't have the flexibility that you do. Let us inhale deeply. And as we exhale, let us bring the power of the breath down through the solar plexus and the arms and the sides and the back and the hips and the buttocks as we breathe in. And as we breathe out, sending more love, light, and energy down through the thighs and the knees. Oh, yes, feel free to rub those knees because it is the knees that will keep us mobile as we breathe in. And as we breathe out, sending more love, light, and energy down through the legs, the ankles, the arch, the instep, and the toes. Oh, yes, those glorious toes. I stubbed my toe last night. It took me forever to get to sleep, but thank God, good rest, and it is not pounding this morning. So we give thanks for the power of the breath and a good night's sleep. As we inhale, bringing all that energy back up from the feet to the legs and the knees and the thighs and the hips and the back and the buttock as we breathe in and breathe out. Doing the higher learning hip roll, moving from left to right. We give thanks as we inhale and as we exhale. Giving thanks as we bring that breath back up through the chest and the solar plexus and the neck and back to the top of the head. And we stretch once more. Inhale deeply and exhale. Inhale once more. And as we exhale, bring the face down, chin to chest. Slowly rotate the head to the left as far as you possibly can. Slow down. And bring the head around to the back. Slowly bringing it around to the right. And back around to the front. Head up. Inhale deeply. And as we exhale, bring the head back down, chin to chest. Slowly rotate the head to the right. Slowly. Feel that stretch in increments and bring it to the left and back around to the front. Head up. Inhale deeply. Look to the left as far as you possibly can, feeling the stretch in the right side of the neck. Oh, yeah, that feels good. Head back. Inhale deeply. And look to the right as far as you possibly can. And head back. And giving thanks for the power of the breath. We give thanks that we are one of the many, many, many people who are unable to have the experience that we are having for whatever reason. We give thanks that this breath is what will calm us in times of chaos and confusion. We give thanks for the breath, knowing that we are always at the right place at the right time, and we are grateful. And that's one of the things that we must all remember to do, is to be grateful. Because someone, somewhere, does not have that privilege. And just keep in mind that deep breathing, it sends triggers through your body. And you have just triggered the happiness gene. Oh, really? Yeah. So you'll wonder why you're walking around feeling so good all day. Well, that could be the reason. Because you have taken the time to set yourself up for a good experience for the day. And on that note, we're going to have another experience for the day. And that is that of learning how to speak Chinese as soon as we come back from our Monday morning mindfulness meditation. I'm sorry, commercials. That was your Monday morning mindfulness meditation. So stay close and we'll be back with Zoe. And thank you so much for sharing.
The Female Solution Global Radio TV Show invites you to an invigorating conversation with our team of hosts Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. Start your week with Monday Morning Mindfulness with ZeldaSpeaks. Tuesdays, Self-Cell Care with Jody Susan. Wednesdays, Repairing Broken Families with Naima Latif and co-host Kareem Hamid. Thursdays, Soulful Solutions with Dr. Debbie Green. And Fridays, Health and Wellbeing with Beata. Saturdays, tune in 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central Time. First Saturday, Success Strategies with Jana. Second Saturday, Wendy Williams Esquire on relationships. Third Saturday, Move Around with Deborah. And fourth Saturday, Wisdom with Mama D. Join us Sundays, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time for Soul Purpose Healing with Beata. Call in and comment 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak to the host and be a part of the solution.
Crime in Chicago continues to increase. Communities and politicians must. Crime in Chicago continues to increase. Communities and politicians must come together to make a change. No one person can solve these problems by themselves, but I believe together we can make progress. Let's provide job training, economic growth, and invest into our 77 communities. Let's rebuild and restore Chicago. Vote for me for mayor of Chicago. I'm Dr. Willie Wilson, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Willie Wilson for mayor.
Do you want to live in a world without war? Join our global peace movement. Helping culture, world peace, and restoration of life transcend culture, religion, ideology, and other boundaries to achieve peaceful harmony in the global society. HWPL is committed to bringing world peace and cessation of war through peaceful dialogue between religious groups. I'm Director Kim of HWPL Chicago branch of North America. Join us for our next gathering. Call 773-580-1501 and be a part of the movement for world peace. Email us at chicagohwpl@gmail.com. Everything you need, what your body needs, is found in nature. So Susan Essentials doesn't do it any other way. Susan Essentials provides your employees and individuals access to over 20,000 nutritional products, and they are shipped direct to your door. Because Susan Essentials is certified in plant-based healing, we're committed to offer you the best nutritional supplements on the planet. They're non-GMO and sustainably produced, and we take the guesswork out for you. Let Susan Essentials help you take control of your health today.
Oh man, gotta set the monthly sun bill today. This sunlight is really expensive, especially during this season. I'll probably have to work overtime to pay it.
Well, you better pay it on time. We don't want the sun to go out and we're sitting up here all day in the dark. Wouldn't it be terrible if God charged us for sunlight? Well, thank God, the light and heat from the sun is free. So why are we paying such high bills for the energy we use in our homes? Because we don't know how to use solar energy, the free energy from the sun. You can convert your regular home to a solar energy home and save tremendously on your electric bill. Take a look at your electric bill. Wouldn't you like to reduce or possibly even eliminate that cost altogether? Let one of our solar consultants show you how. Call today, 312-849-3456, and schedule a free consultation. That's 312-849-3456. Are you constantly arguing with your health? Are your children misbehaving and acting out? Is someone in your family abusing drugs? Have you been a victim of domestic violence? Are you grieving the loss of your loved one? Let us help you restore serenity to your life. At Serenity Family Social Services, we understand that good mental health is a result of emotional well-being. Our goal is to assist you and your family in removing emotional distress and restoring harmony and balance to your lives. We offer individual, couples, and family counseling. I'm Howard Williams, CEO of Serenity Family Social Services. Call today at 312-315-4820. That's 312-315-4820.
Jody Tucson of Tucson Essentials is certified by the #1 functional medicine doctor on plant-based healing essential oils, which are revolutionizing the way we manage our well-being. Schedule today to take control of your health. Tucson Essentials is re-engineering what health looks like by leading you to the best wellness initiatives in the world. Start your coaching plan today and create a new paradigm of health. Click here to learn more.
Hi, I'm Dr. CJ of Valona Health, where we combine orthopedic manual therapy and neuroscience to treat the whole person. Health tip for the day is keep it moving. Doesn't matter how, just keep it moving doing something you enjoy. Walking, dancing, rolling on the floor with your dogs or kids, really anything. The body clears movement, keeps its bones, joints, and the muscles happy. Even our mental health and internal organs and digestive system rely on our movement. Thanks for being a part of the Higher Learning Network. I'm a Female Solution.
Grand Rising. And thank you for joining us back here on the Female Solution. I'm your host, ZeldaSpeaks. Welcome to Monday Morning Mindfulness. And today we're talking about why you need to learn Chinese. And why is that, Zelda? Well, we're being joined by our very own guest, Zoe Ma. She's back for part 2. Hi, Zoe.
Hi, good morning, Zelda.
So good to see you this morning.
Yes, very good to see you this morning. You know, today actually is the second day of Chinese New Year.
Is it really?
Yes, yesterday was the first day of Chinese New Year.
Oh, wow.
So I want to let everybody know who are interested. Next Sunday, there's a Chinatown parade to celebrate the Chinese New Year, January 29th.
What time?
I think probably start at noon.
Noon. Okay.
Yeah, maybe I just kind of let me see when is. Dr. Wilson is going to be there.
Is he?
He's going to have a float.
Oh, really?
So everybody go to Chinatown to support Dr. Wilson.
Absolutely. We will definitely do that. That is awesome. Had no idea. Now, what do you do when you celebrate a Chinese New Year? What does that entail?
Well, okay. This year is very special. Probably the first time in my almost 29 years in the United States that I can celebrate Chinese New Year with my mom.
Oh.
So she just joined me she came to the United States on Christmas Eve. So she's been here almost a month. And
really?
Yeah, January 21st is a Chinese New Year. And then so it's the first time actually we celebrate Chinese New Year because I normally don't have my parents with me, and it's a Chinese custom to spend the Chinese New Year with your family. And this year I kind of show my son some of the custom to in the Chinese New Year. I think the one custom the kids love the most is actually when the first thing in the morning of Chinese New Year, you go to wish Happy Chinese New Year to your elders, and you get a red envelope with money.
Oh.
So
Chinese New Year of the rabbit. Okay.
Yeah, this year is a years of rabbit, and so so the night before, it's almost like a Christmas that you hide a Christmas present until the morning of Christmas, right? And then kids will go open the box to see what's the present. And then for the Chinese New Year, the kids will go around, uncle's home and grandparents' home, and then wish them Happy New Year, and they will receive an envelope. And actually, it's money making for the youngsters all year round. It's the only time they make money. And some kids can get really rich.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
especially
favorite thing for the youngsters for Chinese New Year, to wish elders Happy New Year and get red envelope with money.
with a red envelope. And I could see how they could get rich because I'm looking here and it says on the website ChineseNewYear.net, it says, how long is Chinese New Year? It says 16 days. Celebrations last up to 16 days, but only the first 7 days are considered a public holiday, January 22nd through the 29th. Wow, did not know that. Wow.
Yeah, but in China, typical is a month-long event. It's not because a lot of companies will close their business early and then allow their employees to return to their hometown to celebrate the Chinese New Year with their family, the whole clan, normally in their hometown. So in China, Chinese New Year also means a mass migration. 1 billion people move around during these 30 days.
Did you say 1 billion or 1 million?
1 billion, yes,
With a
1
B.
billion. B
Wow.
with a B. So
Wow.
in China, all the train stations, all the trains, the flights, you need to book your tickets early. Otherwise, you do not get a chance to go home. And
wow.
I remember in 1988, I went to college in 1998. I went to Canton, Guangzhou, which near Hong Kong, for winter vacation. And then I tried to get back to my parents' home before Chinese New Year, and there was no tickets. They have to add like extra train, which is not regular train, so they have to add stop, and it took me, I think, probably 3 days to get home on train because our train is not a regular train. So it's out of schedule. We had to let other scheduled train to pass. So it took me 66 hours to get home.
From one state to another?
It's more from Florida to it's more like from Florida to Boston. It took me 66 hours.
Wow, that's like 3-4 days.
Yes.
3 days.
But
almost 3 days.
But you can see the determination of Chinese to go back to their home, and during these holidays, it's so important. And then on Chinese media, you see all the content of how the kids visiting their parents. The parents are so excited because normally the kids go away from home to work, but Chinese New Year's they always try to get home, and it's a very sad thing they cannot they spend the time with their parents. And then it's a very moving, very touching moment when they come to visit their parents during this special holiday.
Wow, had no idea. I had no idea that it was a month long. I know about Chinese New Year. We hear about it all the time on the news, but I had no idea that it lasts a month. Wow.
Yeah, because China is as big as United States. And then, in United States, maybe half of the country is in plains, but in China, only a third of the country is in plains. The rest is mountains. So the travel is very difficult.
Did you say the more people are in the mountains?
Yeah, a lot of people live in the villages in the mountains.
With off the grid.
A lot of, that's why China has a huge poverty problem, because a huge portion of the population live in the mountains off the grid for a long time. But in the past 10 years, the government, took a special effort, did a campaign called Poverty Alleviation to live 600 million or 800 million people out of extreme poverty, because all those people live pretty much off the grid. There is very little electricity. For them for them to get to a big city, probably they have to walk 2 days or 3 days.
Wow.
And there's actually, if you, I can show you a clip of a situation. The village, the kids from a village to go to school, they have to climb up and down of 15 feet tall cliffs to go to school, elementary school.
You know what? I saw something like that on. I've been watching a variety of international films, and I saw that. I don't remember the name, but it was a Chinese movie. What? Wait. Remember the last time we talked? Go back to China. Was that the name of the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I saw these little Oriental girls, these little Chinese girls, and they are doing exactly. They came a very long way. They had their little skirts on, and they're climbing over fences and going up mountains. And I was like, wow. And this is daily to go to school?
Yeah, and so a lot of now the government set up many boarding schools just so the kids don't have to go through that kind of a treacherous commute.
Yeah, because that is definitely treacherous. Good Lord. So their commute to school will be much better than what it was before.
Well, they will do only like a weekend commute rather than daily commute.
Oh.
They either do a weekend commute or like a monthly commute.
Oh.
Okay. So they can stay. They will go to like a boarding school, like so the room and board are provided.
Okay.
At the school, so they don't have to go to do the this treacherous road to school. Yeah, there's a story like how Chinese kids live in those remote area to go to school.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is awesome. And you look at children here who complain about anything and everything, and it's like you don't have to walk forever to get to school. But then the question remains, when they get to school, what type of books and teachers do they have? Do they have good books? Do they have teachers in abundance? How does that work?
Actually, yeah, I think that China has a policy. They will because Chinese a socialist system, so they will allocate resources to those schools. For example, they will borrow teachers from like Shanghai, Beijing, those area good schools, and have them volunteer to teach in the remote village.
Oh, okay.
So kind of even out in China, make an effort to try the best to even out the access quality education.
Oh, okay. So they bring in teachers from other areas. Okay. Well, I wonder if they do that here in America.
No, because in America the teachers are financed by local tax revenue, so they will not be able to do that.
Oh.
But in China, the schools are financed by the government. Not only schooling, also in terms of development of underdeveloped area in China. The whole poverty alleviation program is actually to take resources from the coastal area, which is more wealthy, to the west part of China, which is less developed. So, and then they pair up, a big company with a small company, big rich company in the East Coast with a small and poor area, like some village in the west of China, like Xinjiang. So they will provide, teachers, they provide doctors, they provide investment, they provide know-how to get the underdeveloped area more access to what it would be only available in the east part of China.
Okay. Wow. We just got her story lesson this morning on China. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. Had no idea. See, that's why I love this show, the platform, the Female Solution, because I always learn something new. Now, how does that move into why, especially Americans, need to learn Chinese? Because we shop all the time. Is that the reason why?
Yeah, I think that you see right now most of products are made in China, and even though some are assembled in the Southeast Asia, like Vietnam, Thailand, and Bangladesh, but the main material are actually manufactured in China. Right now, do you know I don't know if a new Chinese e-commerce company called Temu, Temu.
Yes. I see it all the time. Yes.
Okay. That's a Chinese company, and then they are beating Amazon. And what this company does is they have a inventory of some very low priced product and sell very cheap, and then are undercutting Amazon. But yeah, see, a lot of time the product is sold in Amazon, like the American brand, the quality, everything is made in China. Actually, the manufacturing cost is only 10% of the retail price. The American companies take 90% of the profits. Okay.
Wow.
Because their royalty on their brand and design, or their marketing expenses, all of those things that the American consumer will pay 90% premium.
Wow.
On that.
And the shipping is included in that too, I'm sure, because it costs to ship from China to the US.
Well, they have warehouse here, so it won't ship from China. So they just bring in bulks of all the products and then ship it. So but if you know Chinese, you can go to China to find those products yourself and sell into your own community.
Wow.
See, this way, and I think for American young people, especially black youth, because right now recently I'm working with some foundations to work on this issue, is to increase the, I will not say employment opportunity. I say, a lot of employment is almost slave labor. If you don't get paid, that allows you to afford decent living. You can, if your job don't pay you enough money to rent apartments,
yes,
and then food, all of those, a living wage, then that's a slave labor. And I don't think the people today should do that.
Wow, that is
and then
opening.
So one thing they can do is actually do like Tmall and Amazon to sell those products themselves to the community, because when you're talking about there's no investment in the community, if you're talking about renting a store space and get employees, it's a very difficult in today's environment. So we have to find a new way to get our young people engaged and in a meaningful way to make a living. And then what a good I think the good skills that the black kids have, and more than other kids, their social skills and their they can sell everything. If they can sell drugs, that means they can sell everything.
Wow.
So we let them sell things that actually don't get them into jail.
Right.
And that's what I called it about digital entrepreneurship.
I love that. We have got to get our children involved in digital entrepreneurship.
That we do what the Amazon model, the Temu model is selling the products that manufactured either manufacturer price, not retail price. Sell them not a retail price because what is sold here is retail price.
Okay. I'm looking at our comment. Someone said, Susan Essentials, Jody Susan of our Tuesday morning self-care said, I cannot see Zoe's face.
I'm so sorry because in the morning, I have to take my son to
Mm-hmm.
school. And then that's
and she froze. Now we know why. But at least Viata says, Grand Rising, glad I found you. I'm glad you found us too, because Zoe is out and about right about there. She is.
So so I'm driving to my son to school right now. So
that's okay.
Excuse me about it.
That's okay. It's so funny. The first time we did the part one, I was in the car, and this time you're in the car. We reversed roles this morning. That is too funny.
Well, that's that's career woman, and the motherhood is a full-time career.
Yes, it is a full-time career that never stops, even when the child grows up and goes on. So thank you for taking us with you this morning, and please continue to look at the road and you don't have to look at me. I know you're there. Just you look full speed ahead because you're driving. You're not sitting like I was. I could sit and talk and look to you, but we want nothing but clear, straight ahead travel this morning. So,
okay, so I'm gonna just
Yep, you got it situated there. And just in case you just tuned in, there she goes, looking beautiful this morning, just looking gorgeous, just driving down the expressway this morning. If you just tuned in, at the wheel and driving very safely, we are greatly appreciative of Miss Zoe Ma, an entrepreneur and businesswoman who is teaching our youth Chinese and why we need to learn Chinese, because it can be very beneficial in more of the ways than one, especially for careers for our youth. Because in America, we have a tendency to be a little lazy, on the lazy side when it comes to speaking another language. Beata talked about that last night on her show on Soul Purpose Healing, which airs Sundays at midnight. I'm sorry, Sundays at midnight. Lord have mercy. Scratch that. Sundays at 7 until 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. And also her show Friday on 7 until 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. But that's important, that our youth don't become lazy like we have, and we haven't learned another language. So we're going to talk more to Zoe when we come back from our commercial break. And if you want to join the conversation and ask her questions, feel free to do so. 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak, and we'll take your calls. But right now, let's go to break. And share this video.
What if you could live to be 120 years old and remain active, healthy, alert, and vibrant? Our bodies are made up of cells that are constantly rejuvenating.
Are you stressed out? Are you ready to learn some quick techniques on how to de-stress immediately? Then book your free 30-minute consultation with ZeldaSpeaks, the Mindfulness Stress Relief Coach, at higherlearningnetwork.org. Thanks for sharing.
Diego? Okay. You want to pick him up? Yeah. Why don't he just be quiet? Tell him to be quiet because I'm out on the radio.
Welcome back to Monday Morning Mindfulness. We're joined by entrepreneur businesswoman Zoe Moss, and she is telling us first-hand information, what you need to know, why you need to learn the Chinese. And before we went to break, Zoe, I had no idea that the website Temu, Temu, how do you pronounce it?
Yeah, I think it's Temu, Temu.
Yeah, Temu.
But in Chinese, it's a different name. But I think in the English name is Temu.
Oh, do you know what it's called in Chinese?
In Chinese, Pinduoduo.
Pinduoduo?
Yeah, it's actually a model of. I think it's similar to Groupon.
Oh, Groupon.
Yeah, it's similar. It's like have more people to buy in, and then as a group. So the way they are doing is the more people to buy, the lower the cost, and that's how you can get a huge discount. So I think the model, the original model is Groupon.
Okay, Zoe, the phone is really tight on your face. Yeah, bring it back just a little bit. There you go. Look, we love your pretty red lips, but we want to see your whole face.
Thank you.
I love the fact that you are enlightening us, because I see those commercials and the first thing that comes to my mind is fraud. And I'm like, how can they offer something so inexpensive that everybody wants and it doesn't cost the arm and a leg like it does on Amazon or wherever?
Because the manufacturer cost in China is only 10% of the whole retail price, and what Temu is trying to bring to you is at the manufacturer cost with a very slim profit margin.
So that's why we pay so much for it.
Yeah, you pay for the brand, and you pay for maybe the experience of shopping at some retail store. But because right now the economy is going digital, it just you eliminate the cost of renting a store space and employment of salespeople.
Yeah, you don't have that issue anymore, so you don't have that overhead, not issue, but you don't have that overhead anymore, so you can afford to sell dirt cheap.
Yes, and then the model, I think Timo probably gave you an idea that how much its manufacture costs in China, and then so so everybody, if they can go to China and source those products at that kind of a cost, they can bring back and sell in the United States. Everybody can do it. With the digital economy, it just the overhead of running a business is hugely reduced.
Mm-hmm.
And so everybody can be their own store on social media just by a phone. A phone is a store.
Okay. Now
So
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Now, you said that Americans could go there and buy in bulk and ship it back here. Now, and you also said that Temu, the company like Groupon, they have a warehouse. Would an individual need to get a warehouse or rent storage, or if they have a big house, an apartment, they find someone? How does that work? Would they need storage?
No, I think there are some companies that in United States can do drop shipping. So it's more. I mean, what I try to do is actually maybe build a drop shopping center in Chicago area, that actually can help have all the goods are already in the Chicago area, and have people who want to sell in Chicago area just ship directly from a warehouse in Chicago and then sell in the Chicagoland.
Say that again.
There's a way, there's a retail, there is a merchandising marketing model called drop shipping.
Yes, I've heard of drop shipping.
Yeah.
Okay, so how would one, I guess they would have to Google that to find out how to do drop shipping.
Yeah, so I think what I would like to do is bring all the those information to the young kids, like young adults, and give them another way to make a decent living, be their own boss. And I
Okay.
think my success in the United States is not because I have two, master degree. Is more because I'm willing to forego the kind of a safety net of a regular paycheck and take the risk to do my own thing, be my own boss. And that's why I can retire now. So being entrepreneur, you don't have to have a very high academic degree. You just need to be street smart. And I feel the inner city kids have very good sense of street smart. So we should capitalize what they are good at it and turn that into an asset rather than a liability.
Turn it into an asset rather than a liability. Now, is that something that can be done online, or does that have to be in person?
Oh, you can do it online. And, actually, there's a lot of programs on YouTube about, doing the digital marketing. I think people can go on YouTube. But my other proposal that is in the work right now is we are actually working with a foundation. I think I just talked to you about it just a couple of days ago. It's a Bridget House of Hope out of
on the
website.
A House of Hope.
Yes, I can get the information later because we have access in of a property in Wisconsin, and it used to be used to be a motel, and we converted it into assisted living, and now we are not doing anything with it. What we are proposing is to make it a retreat center for inner city kids. And
just lost Zoe. She's driving, so she'll be back. I like that idea. There she is. Okay, we got you, Zoe.
Okay, so we are just working with some organizations to hopefully take back that property. And then yesterday I visited some church in the west side, and we kind of brought the idea to the church.
We can't see your face, Zoe. We can't see your face. There you go. Yeah, back it up just a little bit. Okay, much better.
Yeah, so we are working with churches in across the city, and then to have young people to go there as a summer camps, or just a regular retreat, on like a weekend retreat, to take the kids out of the city, and then we can have a garden, a petting zoo, or whatever we can do. It's a building with almost 30 rooms, and on a 30-acre land, so they can go fishing. The summertime they can go kayaking. There's many things to do.
Okay.
And so
go ahead.
And then we can make it that into a training program too, for kids to learn those skills.
And those skills will come in handy any day, every day, all day, if you have what it takes to be an entrepreneur. Uh, our executive producer, Naima Latif, who is an entrepreneur, says, Grand Rising, ni hao.
Ni hao.
And what does ni hao mean?
Ni hao means hello in Chinese.
Hello in Chinese. That is part of the female solution intro. We speak to all the different languages in the intro. So thank you, Naima. Yes, thank you, Naima, for showing our audience how to say good morning, grand rising in Chinese. Ni hao. Yes, she says that on the introduction.
I'm so glad to hear that.
Yeah, I mean it's always there, and when we go to commercial break, so you can hear it, I'll play it again because, or is that in the outro? I think it's in the closing. It's not in the opening. Let me know if I'm right, Naima. If you just joined in, it is 8:14 here in the U.S. on the Female Solution and the Higher Learning Network TV show. And our guest today is why you need to learn Chinese Part 2 with Zoe Ma. So if you didn't see the first show, you can go back and see it. I think it was last month. And you'll see why you need to learn Chinese Part 1. And it's so funny. I was in the car and walking down the street at that time, and now Zoe's in the car. Move around with Deborah says, Ni hao. What is the area where the proposed retreat is?
It's about 4 hours away from Chicago, just about less than an hour from north of Green Bay. If you go, it's on the way to UP. If you drive, you're going to UP, you are going to pass our property.
What's UP?
Upper Peninsula, Michigan.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
So in the winter time, you can go skiing. In the summertime, we have about 15 feet river frontage. It's actually it is a resort area for normally Wisconsin people. So not many people from Illinois go there, but it's still like I remember I rented that property as a motel before we took it over to make it assisted living, and then we have many guests from Illinois. Before it was a winter skiing route. Cross country skiing route, but now there's not so many snow over there anymore.
Okay.
But still, summertime is beautiful. We probably gonna later we are developing the website with the foundation, and then you can see some pictures and it's very pretty.
Okay, Deborah says, move around with Deborah, our third Saturday host from 12 noon until 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, says, how close to opening is the opening? If that makes sense.
We are working on the logistics. We probably will have to get some donation for bunk beds to put in each of the rooms. So we are hoping to do it in this summer. I just need to put. Yeah, we are working with the churches to have kids. It doesn't matter if they are part of the church or not. They can always come.
All right.
We just want to give inner city kids a chance to be out of the city.
Yes, because it's really sad that I hate to say it, but a lot of times our children never see past the 4 blocks that they live in. I did not have that experience as a child. I remember the one time I had to go downtown, and I was so afraid to go. We lived on State Street. We lived on South State Street in the Stateway Gardens Project, and all I had to do was catch the bus downtown to Washington or Madison or something like that to go get a birth certificate. And I was petrified. So I can imagine what children are feeling when they have to leave their community and they have to go alone, because I had to go alone. So this is awesome for that. Naima Latif, it says in the opening, we give a greeting in all the languages, and in the closing, we say thank you in all the languages. So that clear that up. Thank you for clearing that up, Naima. So yeah, it is 8:17. That is awesome. If you just tuned in and you'd like to ask Zoe some questions, 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak. If you're watching us online, you can watch on our YouTube channel, Higher Learning TV Show, as well as our Facebook channel, Higher Learning TV Show. And we'll take your questions because I'm not sure if Zoe's going to be here with us until 9 or not.
Yeah, I can be there. I probably, I will be there
Okay.
until 9. I love, I only get a chance to be on the show once a month or, every so often. I love to take questions because, see, the reason I'm so happy you invite me to be on your show is because I feel there's a communication gap between Chinese Americans and African Americans. And I think my purpose, I think the God's purpose is for people like me, Chinese Christians, to work with Christians from other ethnic groups. And we build a one country under God, right?
Right.
And that's my purpose. So, and I would like to offer my personal experience to how to be financial independent. Because I came to this country in 1994 with $40 in my pocket.
$40.
Yeah, $40 in my pocket. I do not have any family at the time. And I remember I start, working. I didn't even own a car. I have to borrow a beat down car from my church to work to start clients, to get clients. I got my first speeding ticket. Now I don't think it's because I drove fast. It's more because I look like a poor people driving a beaten down car. So, but to be able to retire now, at 50 years old, something. And I mean, I just maintain my living standard as simplistic. Then I don't have to work anymore. And I want to show African Americans about those myths that you have to have generational wealth or you have the family support to be able to be living a kind of a decent life. I want to dispute that myth because my personal experience shows you do not need that to be where we are. And
they try to tell us otherwise.
Yeah, they will say, oh, you need this, you need that. They just feel like you don't deserve it. No, every one of us, we are all created by God. We're all equal. We are equally talented. We just, some people are just given less opportunity and given wrong information.
Oh, we get lots of wrong information.
So I just feel like, sometimes I ask God that why God put me here because, 29 years ago, I actually didn't want to come to the United States. I'm a more like accidental American.
Really?
Many times, I just feel like I'm so fed up with America. I just want to go back to China.
Really?
Yeah. I was very successful in China. My living standard drops when I came to the United States.
Oh.
And so.
And why is that?
Well, I think America has broadcast itself as a land of opportunity, land of gold.
Yes.
But, I came to graduate school at UIC. And what surrounds UIC is the projects. And it's like a rude awakening. I say, wait a minute. Those people living like in concentration camps.
Ooh.
You know, because even though China, in the 90s, we are not as rich as in China was not as rich as it today. But I think the whole society is much more friendly to each other, and no ethnic groups are marginalized. Me growing up as a Chinese Muslim, my parents are Chinese Muslims.
Really?
And yeah, you like the Uyghurs? You hear about the Uyghurs all the time, right? But our group used to be the largest Muslim group in China. I think in the 80s we are already 6 million. I think right now we are about 10 million. Okay, so 10 million. We call it Hui Muslim in China, and the Uyghurs, they used to be half of our size. Now they are more than us. They are also in 10 million, but they are a little bit more than us. Just thinking, when you hear the American media about the genocide of Uyghurs, how can they be genocide when their population doubled and surpassed our group? What kind of
Well,
logic is that?
to keep us in bondage as far as our thinking is concerned, because they want us to think a certain way, just like we think a certain way about the motherland. It's like you don't want to go to Africa because it's dirt poor over there. No, it's not. It's filthy rich over
No.
there. They want you to keep that money here in the States.
Exactly. That they actually they want to shape your view. The very first book I came to United States, I didn't read it, but my roommate who was a Cuban American recommended this book called Manufacture of Consent.
Manufacturer of cassettes.
Consent.
Oh, manufacturer of consent. Okay, manufacturer.
Manufacture of Consent by Noam Chomsky. Because I don't even need to read it and to understand means what. Because the media in America is to shape your view in a
Yes.
certain way.
Yes.
It was never about telling the truth. They use a selective truth to shape your view.
Yes.
Before it was a selective truth, but now it's totally fabrication of lie to shape your view.
Yes. You are
Like,
absolutely right.
yeah, before I can still put up with American media, say, well, they are not necessarily false news. They are just using selective facts to shape your view. But now they are fabricating out of nothing.
Who say out of nothing?
Yes.
Out of thin air. It's like whatever they tell us, we're supposed to believe it. Just sit in front of the TV, 2579, 2232, Fox, NBC, all of them. Just sit there and absorb all of this programming that
They are all propagandas. All this mainstream media are propagandas. They want you to believe in things that is not true.
Right.
But they bombard you with it because the only way you can tell if they are lying or not is by going to another country. Especially Americans' view of the world is only the white people's view of the world. So what we, as we coming from different background, like for you, the truth about Africa. For me, the truth is about China. China is almost like, I would say, China is more my, maiden home. America is my married home.
Oh,
I
okay.
love both of them, but I cannot put up with any smear campaign of my maiden home. If it's if their things are not correct, but no society is perfect. I think
Right.
they've been doing the same thing about Africa.
Right.
Yesterday I was watching about on YouTube about a program talking about the relationship with Africa and China, and the people from on that the panel say, the view about Africa in China are more positive than the news about Africa in America. I think in China there's many news about Africa, but
Right.
those news are more positive than the way America talking news about Africa.
Okay. You know what? I need to say this before I forget it, Zoe. 20, 30 years ago, I had a chance to go to leave this country the first time, and I went to, I think it was East Africa. And the stories, let me back up here. I'm in an African country, and I get there, and I see all these Chinese people, and I'm thinking, what's going on here? Then I come to find out that the resort is owned by Chinese. And I'm thinking, how was that possible in Africa? Can you explain that? I was so shocked.
Okay. You see, maybe one thing I can tell you and then explain the Chinese mentality is, I'm not saying all Chinese mentality, but the official position of China about the world. So if you go to China, go to Beijing, you know, Tiananmen Square is almost the symbol of, China, the Tiananmen Square. Mm-hmm. And then in front of the Tiananmen Square, that's the entrance to the old palace, the Forbidden City. So they have this gate, a gate with the walls. So on the wall, there's a picture of Chairman Mao. Okay.
Okay.
And on each side, there's what should I say? A banner on each side.
Okay.
And had the words on it. On the left side, long live of Chinese people. Okay. On the right side is long live of the unity of the world.
Oh. Okay.
So it means that the people of the world, they are celebrating the unity of the world different, population all over the world.
So,
and that's the Chinese. This is here the name CCP's view of the world. In China, back in the 60s and 70s, even though China was poor, China helped finance and build the railway in Tanzania.
Oh.
Even though China was poor, at the time I was in college from 1987 to 1991, the university next to mine has a program that train Africans from Tanzania and some other African countries. Those students came on China's government scholarship, and they live in the dorm better than the Chinese college student that I was. We were mad. There was a riot because we were angry at our government. Why the Chinese government will give a better financial support to African students in China than to us.
Wow. That makes you think. Okay. Well,
because China view themselves as a third world country, and there's a unity of third world country, and China will help the third world country.
Wow. Had no idea.
Because the white media will not let you to see that.
Want to keep it hid. All right, it's 8:31. We got to take our last commercial break. If you got questions, you want to call in 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak. When we come back, we'll open up the phone lines.
Global radio TV show. We are part of the online network of Associated Internet Radio Hosts on air and interactive radio TV shows. This is such a wonderful time to be alive and to see our human family coming together as one community as a result of that powerful tool, the internet. We can now talk directly to each other all over the world. There's no need for conflict or misunderstanding. There's no need for violence to solve our differences. We can talk to each other face to face until we reach an agreement. On Air offers a fantastic global guide to communicators from all over the world who are using their internet platforms to inspire us to strive to be our best selves in order to become the kind, compassionate, loving people we were all born to be. Once we do that, we'll see planet Earth transformed into a place of peace. Subscribe to the recommended YouTube channels, Facebook pages, and podcasts created by these Voices of Enlightenment. On Air provides daily news briefs and a weekly magazine to keep you abreast of the
Back with the last half an hour. Thank you for joining us here on the Female Solution and the Higher Learning Network TV show, which airs Tuesdays at 6, Wednesdays at 1 on Channel 19. Be sure and download the app, cantv.org, and you can watch it streaming live on your cell phone. And we have got a few comments here, Zoe. Let's see what they have to say. I do believe, comments. Is China's perspective, Deborah, move around with Deborah, says, is it China's perspective to have a presence in the world or own the world, or is Mao Zedong's vision to control the world? Good question, Deborah.
Okay. I think let's look at the history. Chinese history, they back about several thousand years.
12,000 years. Wow.
China, we are talking about the Han, which is the main ethnic group of China, which is 94% of Chinese are Han. I'm not a Han, I'm a Hui. So I'm not a typical Chinese. But a Chinese civilization, never a civilization of colonization and invasion. In China, even before 1840, Chinese economy was number one, had been number one in the world for millennium. For several thousand years, China has the highest GDP in the world. Never invade any country. China has 55 ethnic groups. You never heard the Chinese ethnic group has a racial riot, especially in the under communist, Mao Zedong system, because in China the ethnic groups are VIPs because they are only
Oh.
4% of the population. Most of them living in the mountains. They help the CCP, the communists, gain China, especially during the time the CCP troops were being chased out by the official government in the 30s. The Chinese, the government's policy always giving favorable policy towards ethnic groups. So in China, Chinese and minorities called VIPs. Totally opposite of what is going on in United States. And
Okay.
almost in any other country that Chinese minority has the highest standing in the society. Unless you try to split the country with outside support. Okay, that would become, in China, we always value unity. So anybody want to disrupt the unity are enemy of the state.
Oh.
So as a Chinese temperament, Chinese culture is never about invading another country or control another country. So what is the fear in the United States is totally manufactured. What I see is, to me, as a Christian, before, I was one of those college students protest against government in 1989. When you hear about this Tiananmen Square massacre, which is totally fabrication, it never happened. But at that time, we, tens of thousands college students from all over China went to Beijing to protest against government corruption, which is the same kind of corruption is legalized in the United States, but in China it's not legal. Okay, and so, but China has dealing with the corruption, bureaucracy head on in the past, especially last 10 years. The Chinese model, for a long time, because the movement in the 1989 was ended not in a favorable condition, and that was the reason I came to United States, because I grew up in the ideology of the socialism, that we are all equal, and then we should have equal resources in the society. And we protest against the government because we believe at the time that government monopolize resources at the expense of working class. So we went to the Beijing to protest. It's anti-corruption, anti kind of insider, almost like insider trading of commodities, like what the Pelosi been doing all along. Okay.
Yes.
And then, but now in the past 10 years, the average life of ordinary Chinese citizen improved dramatically. First time ever in the whole 1,000 years of history, Chinese, China has a middle class larger than the whole population of America.
Say that again.
The size of Chinese middle class that it almost come from nowhere in the past 10 years is larger than the whole population of United States.
Really?
Yes. Yes. The Chinese middle class is larger than the United States population.
Wow. And there are how many billions of people in China as opposed to how many people are in America?
China has 1.4 billion. And the 400,000 out of 1.4 billion are middle class, and United States is 350 million.
Wow. How is that possible? We ask ourselves.
And this is a word a lot. I think the guy Jack Ma said in Alibaba. You know what he
Uh-huh.
said? Okay, he said since China entered WTO, United States and China both benefit from it. China built a large middle size or middle class. America spent all this money on Afghanistan, Iraq, all the wars.
Mm.
China and the U.S. made the same amount of money.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. But
Really?
what Trump wants you to see, China steal their jobs and blah blah blah. No, U.S. I think spent what 2 trillion or 20 trillion in the war in Afghanistan alone.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yes.
Wow. We are so that's why I'm so excited to have you on the show. And yeah, you need to come on regularly to talk. So thank you for coming back. We can have you here regularly because we need an international perspective. We are so dumbed down in America because we listen to all those stations that tell us what they tell us because it's part of the that I learned on Viata's show, which airs on Friday, 7 till 9 a.m. What did she call the something project? I got to look it up. It's I'm going to Google it right now. It's a project that was designed by the CIA in programming. Yeah, that's it right there. CIA programming on Operation Mockingbird. That's what it is. Operation Mockingbird. We have been so inundated. What program is the word to use for it? Of what they want us to think. And the thinking that we're doing is not of our own. This is it right here. Don't believe me. Don't believe nothing I'm saying. Go to Google and type in this word right here. Operation Mockingbird. This article is about the alleged CIA program to influence the press for the CIA tapping operation Project Mockingbird, yada, yada, yada. But it's a large scale program in the early years to instruct the American news media or organizations for propaganda, and it worked. It's still working. We believe everything that we hear. You have people who sit and watch television 24/7 because they're news junkies and they're proud to say it. And I'm not here to talk about anybody. It's just to make you aware of how what you think, why you think the way you think, because you've been programmed. And that's why we have Zoe Ma here to give us another international perspective, because everything you read and listen to is not for your best interest. It's for the best interest of those who maintain the country.
So that's why I strongly encourage people to travel to another country. So of course, English is an international language. If you go to China, you will find enough Chinese speak English and to get by. But you get is already selected the view. Those who learn English, have exposure to English, they are not typical Chinese. If you want to feel like my mom, you want to learn about my mom past, she doesn't speak English. And she's from, she was born, think about this. She was born at the time China was not communism.
Was not.
No. Because
Okay.
the communists took the power, they gained power in 1949. My mom was born 1942. And she remembered the extreme poverty that she lived through. She had 3 older sisters that did not go to school because of poverty. The reason she could go to school at the age of 10 is because she was because the communist took over the government, and they mandate kids to go to school, regardless you are rich or poor.
They want their children to learn and to read.
And then just thinking, everybody said CCP is so bad, but think about it. The life expectancy of Chinese before CCP in 1949 was 35-year old. My grandpa passed away at the age of 39. Just thinking a country with a population life expectancy of 35 years old.
Wow.
And then in 30 years, the CCP, the evil CCP, increased the life expectancy of Chinese population to 70 years old in 30 years.
How is that possible?
That's the what the CCP does. They are very good at solving problems. They try different ways. They may have a ways that actually failed. Many things they failed, but then they correct themselves and find another way. They are very practical, and that's what we have China today. And my mom, she never imagined, when she went to school, at that time she went to school wearing shoes with no sole, barefooting. Now she can retire with her own apartment, her own condo, with pension, healthcare. She doesn't want to come to United States. She liked in China. Chinese seniors love China.
And why is that?
Because just thinking, China treat the seniors. All the policy are favoring China, those seniors, because of like the COVID. My mama never got COVID in the 3 years she lived in China.
Wow.
Because all the policy to protect the seniors. China, because the government believed China was built at with the hand of those seniors. When China went through the extreme hardship, China was sanctioned by United States for 30 years. Embargo. China was sealed off by America.
For 30 years?
For 30 years.
So that must have been when we were kids, when we were children.
The United States didn't even recognize China as a country until 1979.
Wow, I did not know that.
They recognized Taiwan government as China, not the Beijing government.
Oh, because they went to Taiwan and made a deal with the leaders there.
No, because China, the reason that there was a civil war after the Japanese invasion and their surrender in 1945, because, and then China went to civil war between the communists and the government of Taiwan currently. And because the government, the official international recognized government of China, which is the one in Taiwan. So the UN security seat was held by the administration in Taiwan until 1971.
The who administration? The social.
That the Taiwan, it's called they are called KMT. The China, the Beijing one is called CCP, and then the one in Taiwan called KMT, the nationalist. Okay. And then so they occupied the UN security seat until 1971 because of who? Because of the United States. There's an issue of Taiwan as different, perception that Taiwan is not part of China is a product of the United States interference. They created Taiwan issue. They stopped the communists unite the country. Taiwan was part of China between 1945 to 1949 under the government right now is in Taiwan, the KMT.
Wow.
but but they lost the war because because thinking about that government caused the life expectancy of Chinese at 35-year-old. Why the Chinese population will support such government?
Wow.
They
And
overthrow the government.
they want to be, U.S. wants to be in control of pretty much everything.
Yeah. Taiwan is a colony of United States, not by name, but by everything else.
Wow, I did not know that. Taiwan? Yes, Taiwan. My husband is like, what did she say? Yeah. Repeat that again in case somebody else missed it too. Say that again, Zoe.
Taiwan is U.S. colony without by name, but in every else sense, Taiwan is a colony of United States.
The colonizers are still at work.
Yes.
They have never stopped their work.
No.
Wow. So does that mean that you can go to Taiwan without a passport?
Okay, so
U.S. or
the Constitution of Taiwan still considered China as theirs, and their map of their country is bigger than the island. Also include the country of Mongolia.
Oh my goodness. We are getting a history lesson here. I want to let us be joined by our executive producer, Naima Latif. I'm not sure if you met her before last time, but she has joined us this morning. Naima Latif.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, ni hao.
Ni hao.
Wait a minute, Naima.
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 Yes, well, shit, Naima.
Naima. So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yes.
She's the executive producer of the show, and she always has questions that just wake up all of my senses. And we do an after show at 9 o'clock, and we got like 3 more minutes before this show goes off. But in case she had any questions, I wanted her to ask you before you leave, because I don't know if you have to leave exactly at 9.
Yes.
I'm fine. Because I'm retired, so I can do whatever I want. Anytime I want.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
I just drop off my son off at the school, so I'm all fine.
You're free.
Wonderful. Well, this should be a interesting after show. I look forward to this. I had no idea of what you just told us. I mean, the information that you are sharing is simply phenomenal. Somebody has a window open with something, because I'm getting a little feedback. You got another window open, Naima?
Let me double check, make sure I close all of my windows.
And before we go, I do apologize for our listening and viewing audience. I did forget to mention, I was so excited to have Zoe back on. I forgot to mention, to tell you all about the our homeless project with the Higher Learning Network, where we assist the homeless in finding whatever it is that they need. Our mission lately has been food and heat. And if you go to our YouTube channel, Higher Learning TV show, I wonder, is there anything like this in China, Zoe? But this is the one that I did just this last prayer. But you can go to our YouTube channel, Higher Learning TV show, and see what's going on. This is the 10th city where we go every week. 10th city is on Des Plaines Avenue between Roosevelt Road and Des Plaines. Taylor, I'm sorry. It's on Des Plaines between Roosevelt and Taylor. It's right next to the garbage, to the gas station, next to the gas station. So you can go to the channel and see that on your own. I won't, because this one is very long. It's usually only like a minute or two, but this one is like 12, 13, 14, 15 minutes long. So you can go there and see that on yourself. But go to our Instagram page. That is the hln.homeless.project. You can see that there. So just wanted to share that with you. Is there a lot of homelessness in China? Oops, it's 8:57. Hold that thought. I've got to go back and play. So, Zoe, so you can hear our closing. Need to close something down, Naeem. I keep hearing. Oh, we got questions too. Thank you so much for calling. We're going to take your questions. Press 1 right now, 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak, and we're going to take your calls. But Zoe, I want you to pay attention to the closing so you can hear the languages. So just hold on. We'll be right back. And for those who are on the switchboard who want to ask questions, please press 1 now because the switchboard will be cut off at 9 o'clock. I'm sorry, 9 o'clock.
But you can hear every show in the
10 o'clock Eastern.
www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution. You can also hear today's show on the Female Solution Facebook page. Go to www.facebook.com/the-female-solution. Leave your comments about today's show. You can always reach me on my website at www.naimalatif.com. That's www.naimalatif.com. Watch our TV shows, listen to our radio shows, order our books, and be sure to get your copy of the book, The Female Solution. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussion. And to our global family listening from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China,
Sheshe.
India, Japan,
Arigato.
Korea, Kamsahamnida, Russia,
Spasiba.
Germany, Danke, Poland,
John Kuyan.
France, Merci,
Merci.
Spain,
Gracias.
Italy, Grazie,
Gracias.
Egypt, Shukran,
Shukran.
Ghana, Madasi,
Madasi.
Nigeria,
Eshe.
South Africa, Niabonga,
Niabonga.
Senegal,
Jaret.
Kenya,
Asante.
Israel,
Toda.
Pakistan,
Shukriya.
Afghanistan, Tashakur,
Tashakur.
Saudi Arabia,
Shukran.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessing.
And we are now live in the after show, which begins at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time here on the Female Solution and on the Higher Learning Network TV show. First thing we need to do is get these people off a hold. 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak as we go to the phone line. 773-450. You're live on the Female Solution. Grand Rising. What's your name? Where you calling from? And what's your comment? Hi, Obadiah. Thank you for calling this morning.
Yes, awesome. You know, it's just no big surprise for the America. They would do anything. So why don't we come up with a different plan?
We are coming up with a different plan. That's why we have Zoe on the line this morning, because not only is she giving us history, her story of what's going on in the world as it relates to China and how it can be beneficial to help Americans. So we are in the process of doing something about it. So thank you so very much for making that comment, Obadiah.
I sure appreciate it. Because, come on, Zelda. It takes 1,000 people with $100 to get $100,000 out of that. All it takes is you. Where is the truth? All our ourselves is not helping nobody. Let's try to do it so that. All right. We us now. Appreciate you.
All right. Thank you so much, Obadiah. Always calling. Thank you for our regular listeners who call in and chime in and share pertinent information. He's got a good point there. If everyone gave $100 for the collective, and I'm not saying that I'm going to collect it. I'm not doing any of that. I'm just saying that was a great suggestion. I don't want anybody to get that misconstrued. That's an excellent idea. Let's see the another call, 336-350. You're live on the Female Solution Grand Rising. What's your name? Where you calling from? And what's your comment as it relates to why you need to learn Chinese with Zoe Ma on the after show?
I'm listening.
Hi, who's this?
This is Mama AC. I'm listening.
Oh, hi, Mama AZ. Oh, was your hand raised? Are you okay?
It was. No, I'm not feeling my best. I'm just listening.
Oh, okay. All righty. Well, you feel free to text Naima if you want to speak. Mama AZ is a regular listener on the Female Solution and the Higher Learning Network, and Mama AZ has had
quite a few physical challenges.
And I see Karen there in the background. Karen, you can come back at 10 because we're still in the after show now. You can stay here, but I can't bring you in until 10. But anyway, I think that's it's important. What Zoe said earlier is how seniors are worshipped in China.
Yes.
And how in America, it's like just kick us to the curb. We're not important. We've outlived our worth of working in corporate America. So it's like, but we don't need you now. So we put you in a senior citizen home and just wait for you to drop dead.
Yeah, that is a reflection of the values that we've allowed to be a part of our culture, because many of us are coming from cultures where elders were valued. African cultures, the elders are highly valued for their wisdom, and indigenous cultures highly valued for their wisdom. So we've allowed the American culture to evolve into a place where age is seen as a burden. And, unfortunately, a lot of American culture evolves out of the history of enslavement of a people. Whereas once you got old, if you couldn't work, then you were either sold away or just left to die, because your value was only as far as you could labor. So that attitude translated into the workforce, where people are working and working and working. And then when you can no longer produce, you're cast away. And even now, a lot of seniors that are still in the workforce are finding themselves being edged out of jobs, because it's an attitude that youth is valued, and once you get too old to work, then you don't have any value. So we have the power to change that. We have the power to change anything in our culture that is unloving, and we must do that. And we must learn other people's culture from their perspective. What we learn in America is propaganda. We learn to fear everybody. We learn that everybody is a potential enemy, so we have to arm ourselves. And there's a whole lot of fear about China, because China is large and strong and has focused on creating industry that has spread worldwide. And so the American government and those that are in business positions, if they're not in harmony and doing business with China, then they are seeing China as a potential aggressive threat economically. And that's the mindset. When you don't think unity, you always think somebody is your enemy. But that's also something we can change. So I'm so glad, Zoe, that you are here and are helping us to see history from another point of view. Well, you are Lydia Songwen.
Oh, 太好了，太好了。So that's why I say she speaks some Chinese. If you, to Chinese, I applaud everyone who try to learn Chinese. Chinese, honestly, is not an easy language, because see, my son grew up English speaking household. He as is almost he's 100% Chinese, but he doesn't speak very good. He speak very little, and then of course he learned Chinese at school, but he can speak some, but the reading part is difficult. So sometimes he will curse and say, "Who who in the world you invent Chinese? It's so difficult. My son. Yeah, so I applaud anyone who can speak, try to learn Chinese. But the good, actually, one of the reasons I didn't encourage him to learn at a very young age is because if you stay in America, there's very few chance for you to use it, and you will lose the language skill.
Yes.
But
Yes.
if
Unless you're in a Chinese community.
even Chinese community in Chinatown, there's two languages to be spoken over there: the Cantonese and the Mandarin.
Yes.
Oh.
And we don't understand each other.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
this is that different. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we
now
don't understand the thing.
the Mandarin is the more prevalent.
The Mandarin is the official language. And Cantonese is the language spoken around Hong Kong.
Oh.
Just
Wow.
like Cantonese is only for the people live in Miami. That's all.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Oh my, yeah.
So the rest of the world, rest of Chinese speak, they have to learn official language, the Chinese. Otherwise, they cannot talk to each other.
Oh.
Because in 1991, when I graduated from college, I went to I spent a month in Xinjiang. When you hear so about Xinjiang, mass what is a genocide or whatever on American media.
Mm-hmm.
Because at college during 4 years, the Chinese government has a special training college prep program for students from Xinjiang. So, and because we are all Muslims, we have our own cafeteria, exclusive cafeteria, and the Han people cannot come. They cannot buy. They cannot buy food in our cafeteria, but we can go to their cafeteria if we want to buy food.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
But they cannot come to our cafeteria because it's a halal food, like a kosher food, to respect our dietary custom.
Yeah.
So
because
I make
Chinese eat a lot of. Excuse me, but I have to ask this question before I forget it. Chinese eat a lot of pork.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And then because I remember when China was still on in the late 80s, in the 80s, the food is in limited supply. To make sure the Chinese Muslim have meat like beef and lamb, chicken to eat, they gave us coupons. So only people, the Muslim give coupons to buy this meat, and the Han people have no beef and lamb to buy.
Oh, I know they were upset about that.
Wow.
Oh yeah, of course. But that's how it is in China. They have to protect the minorities. If 94% of the Chinese want to eat the beef, then there's nothing left for our 1% of the Muslim in China.
Wow. Now, I have to ask you this question because I have a niece who's living in China.
Mm-hmm.
Her and her husband, they teach there. They teach English there, and they've been there several years, and they have a few pet dogs. And my niece called just in a state of distress because her dog ran away, and she's afraid that someone will capture the dog because she said people do eat dogs there, and she's deathly afraid someone's going to see her dog as a meal. How likely is that
the likely
end up on somebody's plate?
It's a probably 1% of a chance. So it exists, but it's not prevalent.
1%? Did you say 1%?
1%.
Okay. And people frown at eating dogs. It's like you eat a chicken, you eat a pig, you eat a cow. So what's the difference if you eat a dog or a cat? I don't get it.
Just like my son, my brother, when he was little, he refused to eat chicken because he read chicken as a pet.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, when you know somebody personally, you can't eat them.
Yeah. So the same thing is for some people it's a pet. For other people, it's a meal.
Okay. A pet or a meal? Which one am I going to do today? I'm going to pet you.
And then there's only one ethnic group in China that actually eating dog is their meal. Is Koreans, Chinese Koreans.
Chinese Koreans. I never heard that term before.
Well, okay, the Korean crossed border to China become Chinese citizens since 1895 when Japan colonized Korea Peninsula, and some Korean left Korea and migrant to China. That's the first wave of Korean moving to China. The second wave is the Korean War.
Yes.
And they migrate to China, become Chinese citizens.
Yeah. Wow. You know, when I was in Korea, they took me to the Korean War Memorial Museum, and if I said this the last time you heard, I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. But they were showing us the whole history of the battle between China and Japan to control the Korean Peninsula, and how it's been going on for centuries, because you know Korea is in like a strategic position. Is that still going on? Is that still part of, you know, the conflict between North and South Korea, where North is the communist and South is not communist, and the two countries are kind of, one is backed by China and the other is backed by the United States, and so the United States is fighting China through Korea. Is that politics still going on, or has things changed?
That's actually is going on, but it's secondary because the battlefield right now is not in Korea. The war between China and the United States, the war zone is in Taiwan. Taiwan's going to be the second Ukraine.
So how do we stop that? How do we prevent that from happening, since we know that that's the underlying thing about to happen?
I think right now, you see, okay, the Taiwan to China is almost like Puerto Rico to America. Okay. You don't want China to establish official relationship with Puerto Rico, right?
Because it's right on your.
There's a small group of people in Puerto Rico want the independence of Puerto Rico, right, from America.
Yeah.
Same thing is in Taiwan. There's a small group of Taiwanese want independence from China. But the majority of people living in Taiwan is they want their like Puerto Rican identity, but not necessarily I don't want to be American. You see, so just thinking about the history of Taiwan is very, very strange. Technically, my mom is a citizen of the government in Taiwan, because he was born in 1942, before the communists took over China, the whole China, likely 95% of the land of China, except Taiwan. So my mom didn't move.
Wow.
But her country moved to Taiwan.
Oh my.
So you see, and the reason my mom's birth country moved because of United States.
So is it possible to have a global policy where if a smaller country that's been attached to a larger country decides they want to be independent, they can just be allowed to do so without, you know, bloodshed and everything? And it's like, okay, you can fine, you can be independent. That means you're responsible for your own economy. We can trade with you, but you don't get any of our tax benefits because you're not part of this country. But that's your choice. That's fine if that's what the people elect to do. Isn't it possible to do that? Should be.
Well, the thinking is the Constitution of Taiwan is one China.
Say that again.
The Constitution of Taiwan is one China.
Well, yeah, it says it's one China, so they can't break away. Just like when the southern states decided they wanted to secede from the Union.
Same thing as the American Civil War.
Yeah. No, you can't leave. You can't be separate and then have your own trade agreements going with Britain and France, and then you're rivaling us and we're all competing. So I think the big thing is competition in the marketplace and national security in terms of war, like who you're allied with. And who
I think it's in the whole thing is white supremacy.
So we have the power to choose not to allow that to happen. If we,
but that's I'm sorry,
no.
I vote for Biden, but Biden is a closet white supremacist racist.
Yeah, in the name of patriotism.
I've heard that before.
Our interests. Yeah,
yes.
I
so
think, yeah.
We don't want another war over Taiwan, because it's okay the world to have 2 different systems or 3 different systems. That's people's choice.
Right. People should be able to choose how they want to live. And
if the Chinese, like my mom,
yeah,
my mom represents the majority of Chinese. The people in the 80s, they are the diehard supporter of current government because they went through the trauma that the old government inflict on its population. Like, she lost her dad when she was 5-year-old.
Wow.
So they have a right to choose a government that they don't want their parents to die at 39 years old.
Yeah.
And that's why, the communists, they are rapidly growing from the 35 in 12 years. The communists grow from only 10,000 troops to, I think, is 3 or 5 million. And then control of China and kick out the old government.
So what is the mind?
People.
So what is the mindset of the younger generation? Say maybe those under 40, or even under 30. What is their mindset about what they want for the future?
The government as a whole, because my families in China are still working class. Okay, only me and my brother were kind of elite. We get the best education in the 90s for free. But unfortunately, both my brother and I left China. But my whole family were working class. They are still working class, and they are still very hopeful for a very good, a better China, because they see the government is very practical. They see that the government is keeping their mission of making Chinese give Chinese a better life, giving ordinary Chinese a better life. And that's the government's. They know they are doing very good job. They are not as ideologically as the Chairman Mao, but they are not as capitalistic as Jiang Zemin.
Now, what about the awareness of some of the ecological concerns? Because I understand that because of the widespread industry, and I think China's still using coal, and it produces a lot of pollution in the air, which even drifts over to neighboring countries. That's why
I think
everybody else.
I can tell you. I think I will probably forward to you by some speech made by a Singaporean foreign minister and he UN representative Kishore. China is the single country that actually caused the improvement of environment in the world right now.
Really?
Yes, China. Yes, in 10 years ago, China environment, because it was rapid growth of economy, China's environment suffered, greatly. But in the past 10 years, China is the main producer of solar energy.
Really?
Oh yeah, and China actually reforest a land mass every year of a country of a Belgium.
Mm.
China is very green compared to United States.
Wow, that doesn't
Yeah.
surprise me. That doesn't.
Because they don't want you to hear, so you need to go to China to see, and that's why I say go to another country and verify what you hear.
What kind of expenses are we talking about to take a trip to China, and while you're there to find a manufacturer of some products that you would like to sell? Of course, her internet would go out at this point because
she'll be back.
These platforms don't want you to know of the options that you have available to you.
Here we go. We're back.
I'm sorry, I just got a phone call coming in. But anyway, I think before the COVID, I took my girlfriend from graduate school. She's from Oklahoma, and we got a cheapest flight to spend a week in China. The round trip was $350 to China. Well, and those deals will not come back anymore. But the trip to China is not expensive as you imagined. But I think right now, because of China's kind of a restriction due to COVID, and China just started open up, so the flight ticket is still expensive. I think we have to wait a couple months, maybe end of the year or next year. I think the flight will go, the price will go down. But China, it's you can if okay, the big cities in China are as expensive as New York and LA.
And what's the value of the dollar there?
Right now, $1 equals $6.8 RMB, but the purchasing power of Chinese yuan is much more than a dollar. The reason I want people to learn Chinese, because you can live if you can speak Chinese, you can choose to live as ordinary Chinese, which is very affordable. You don't have to stay in the big cities and suffer from like a housing price like New York. We can't. Our income will not survive New York housing price, right?
Yeah.
Same thing. If if you make, I think if you for a seniors with some limited income, you should be able to live a very good life in certain part of China or Southeast Asia or even Latin America. You don't have to stay in the United States.
You don't know that if you've never left this country. That's why I said every American living and breathing needs to save up some money and leave this country, and your eyes will open to a whole new world, because you have been fed information all of your life since birth on someone else's perspective. You need to go and see for yourself.
Right. Well, the world has two camps. Okay, the white and non-white.
Ooh.
Okay, so you need to go to Europe and America is the white world. Then you go to the other part of the world, which is non-white. You see, I think it's a comparison. Only by comparison you appreciate what you have. Otherwise, you always complain what you don't have.
And Americans are very good at that. We're very good at complaining about everything.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I did notice that really made an impression on me. I had a layover in China on my way back from Korea, and I had a chance to like walk the streets and see people and meet people and kind of experience, a day of Chinese culture. But one thing that I did notice was the cleanliness and people cleaning their own, even business people cleaning their own streets, whether it was hosing it down or whatever. And I didn't see any trash cans, but I didn't see any trash. I thought, that's interesting. Now here we got garbage cans all over the place, but we got garbage all over the place. So it's like,
because you know what? You don't have a crew to clean the city.
So people
China has a huge workforce. Just clean. Their job is doing nothing but to clean the city all the time. And that's the job. You have only garbage collectors. Then nobody really sweep the street.
No, not regularly. What, like once a month or something, maybe. And then they don't really sweep. They just kind of push the dirt to the side.
You have in China, you have this team. They labor kind of. They clean. They are responsible for a section. They clean all the time. They pick up trash. So China is very clean.
And that could happen here. I mean, it's not like we don't have people to work. We got so many people out of work and so much work to do. It's really just a matter of deciding to take the people who need the work and put them with the work that needs to be done and get it done.
What's the unemployment rate in China?
Well, a lot of people, I think one thing, in the difference between China and the United States is that there's a very few, we call them micro business, that is only mom and pop shop.
Mm-hmm. So people make their own jobs, basically, so in turn, there isn't any unemployment, I guess.
Yeah, because, everybody will figure out a way to make some money. All the time. Everybody say, nobody want to wait for handout.
Yeah.
Everybody just, it's there. Yeah. It's like, it's a pride.
Yes.
That, that you don't beg for food. And then.
It's a what that you don't beg for food?
Pride.
It's a pride.
Oh, pride. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. There's no pride here in the States. And thank you for sharing it, Zoe, because the first time I ever left the United States, that was my experience too. It's like, why? And I was in East Africa and South Africa, and I was like, everybody is selling something. And here, especially in Chicago, it's like you're looked down upon if you're hustling in the street. In New York, it's every day, all day, every day. So
yeah, that's one thing I don't understand. Why Chicago cannot do that? But I think
because we're listening to the program that tells us we need a job. We don't need to be self-sufficient. We need to work for your corporation.
No, I think that's why I'm advocating for a digital entrepreneurship. Yeah. You don't need to stand at the street corner to hustle and doing selling. You don't need to do the paneling. Yeah. You can use your media.
All right, do it online.
Like a TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and sell.
Nobody.
Your own followers.
Yeah. You don't even need a website anymore.
Right.
You don't need a website. You just need your phone.
That's it. And that's something.
Everybody has a phone.
You just
so that's why I think we need to have a training program of our young people.
Yeah.
To use the social media to do marketing.
Business.
To do business.
Yes.
So how can we help our young people start this trade and become these digital entrepreneurs? What's the next step?
Zoe? You know what I think is, why I support Dr. Wilson? He's the best role model.
Yeah.
Because he has been doing trade with China for a long time.
Yes.
We ask him, he can train all our young people.
He's always saying he wants to do that too. He wants to set up trade schools and just,
But the trade school he was talking about is still slave labor.
Yeah, unless you turn into a business. I mean,
yeah, so he should say he's a self-employed, right?
Right.
Why? So every single black young man can do what he does.
Right.
Be a self-employed. We have to teach people how to be self-employed.
Yes.
Like Dr. Wilson.
Yes. It's so simple.
It's really
so simple.
It's so simple. How did he did his the trading company? How did he start it? He has all the resources. So our young people, our young black people, black man and black lady, go to Dr. Wilson and say, you need to teach me how you start your trade business with China.
Yeah.
How you can keep your wealth.
I saw it on his page. I saw it on his Facebook page how he was when he signed the document with the Taiwan, I believe it was a Taiwan business owner where he does business, where he gets the mask and things of that nature.
I think he does the gloves.
He has office. I think he has office either in Beijing or in Shanghai. He has employees in China.
I think it's in Shanghai. And if you go to his page, Dr. Willie Wilson on Facebook.
So the young people need to vote for him and tell him, you need to have that program for Chicago.
Yes. Oh, there he is of Chinese New Year. Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's me. You see me in that picture?
Yes.
On the side, in the
Oh,
white
wow.
dress.
Yeah, so we can learn a lot from this man, and it
So
has
that's why
gone.
we need to get him elected. We
Yes.
don't need those what so-called progressive Democrats. Their goals to keep us poor.
Right. Keep you
Right.
begging.
Yes, they keep you live on handout. We
Yeah.
Right.
should say no to handout. We
That's
should
smart.
elect Dr. Wilson that who can teach every black kid, boy, girl to become
Entrepreneurs.
entrepreneurs, self-employed. We
Yeah.
don't need it, we don't need it, and you don't need a trade,
Just
those are
figure out what
between
you want to
school.
sell. That's right. Just what
Just
product
sell.
do you want to sell and sell it? That's all the business
So,
is.
do you have any suggestions for young people or people of any age for something that
Any
they
age.
buy from
What's a
China?
product? What's a product that you see that is probably internationally popular that someone could get on the internet and sell anywhere?
Well, just check what's listed on Amazon
Ah,
and what's selling the most, and then you try it. I think I'm trying to look at the program, but I like how to choose products in and then sell in your own circle. So every young people, they have social media, right?
Right.
And then look at all your friends and family what they need in daily and source it. And then that's the one the Chinese language skill is coming in, because if you speak Chinese language, you can source directly in China
Yeah.
at huge discount,
and
and you
not
can
pay
make money.
a small fortune for something, because I was looking for a chair, a certain kind of chair, a zero gravity chair, and they all started like $2,000. So something told me to go to the
Because
website.
a lot of product that is selling in China is not available on Amazon.
Right.
In China, there's a huge new product that I can see on WeChat. In the Chinese, like a Chinese version of the TikTok with the WeChat, like
Oh
Instagram.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
see a lot of, in China they have one product that you probably never imagine.
What's that?
Your glass, like the walls, the roof, like the sunroom where you have a glass, right?
Yeah.
That can be solar panel. So that
Mm.
glass it can generate electricity
Wow.
to supply all the
Now
electricity
that
for your household.
how would a person get into that? Make the connection with the company that manufactures that in order to get into that business.
Vote for Dr. Wilson. Have him to give you set up all the connections. He has a lot of
All right.
connections.
All right. We'll
Oh,
make that
wow.
happen.
So
Because
that's
I'm
because
partnering in a
he
solar
has
company
a
here.
lot of contact. I can help set up too. That's
That would
what
be
I'm.
great. That would be great.
What I'm trying to set up association called U.S. China Minority Macro Business Association. Only we help the small, like a mom and pop shop, girlfriend boyfriend shop, just boys and girls shop, to do business with China, to source products in China and sell it in the United States.
Okay, we can make that happen because I'm working with a solar company here. I have solar panels on my house, and we've been looking at the growth of the solar industry and how we can make it easily available to the regular homeowner.
So maybe we can meet up, and I can put you can try to install WeChat. You download it from your phone, app. You install WeChat. Okay. After you install the WeChat, they need normally another because they verify if you are not a robot. So normally you need somebody to verify your identity. But I can use, because some program cannot pass through messengers or things. I can only send it through WeChat. But I already save a lot of products that I feel is so interesting that can be sold in the United States. Especially, I'm interested in the glass that you can put a roof. Your whole roof is glass.
Wow.
And then that can generate. You can generate electricity.
Is that WeChat or WeChat free or WeChat Chinese? I see 3.
I think WeChat International, you can just, but normally you need somebody to verify.
Mm.
So maybe sometime we can meet up. I can help you install one, but I can only do one person a day. They are very particular. They don't want a
Oh.
fake.
Is this a
account.
Chinese application?
It's a Chinese. It's very powerful. In
Yeah,
China,
I know
China,
my niece has WeChat because she communicates with her, my sister, her mother all the time on WeChat. So yeah.
yeah, China is a cashless country. People don't bring wallets. Everything is by phone. And
Really?
the one of the thing is WeChat. You pay utilities with WeChat.
That's what I'm talking about. Everything by phone.
You do donation with WeChat.
Really?
Yeah, everything is WeChat. It's no in China is cashless country.
Wow.
No
I
wonder
gotta
we're
study
going in
that.
that direction. Yeah.
So with that being said, then are there problems with things like theft and mugging and people getting robbed because nobody's carrying cash? So
Yeah, well then, so you can't steal anything because nobody have cash,
Mm.
right? Everything's on the
Right.
phone. But if you lost the phone, it can track in China.
Ah.
Are you on WeChat? I know you are.
Yes, I am.
Under Zoe Ma?
Yeah.
I'm downloading it
No,
now.
no. You put it like it's my phone number. You put like my phone number. You have my phone number.
Okay.
And put like my phone number, and then you will find my WeChat account.
Mm. Wow. There we go.
Sign up with mobile. Yeah. So I'm gonna sign up with the mobile number.
Yeah, you use the mobile number, but if you look at my account, it's my phone number and with the one in the front, like the area code and phone number. Maybe in the US you don't need the area code, but in China, if they look for me, they have used they have put on an area code, but otherwise they don't have to.
So now,
Country code.
with WeChat and people doing all of their business transactions through their phone. So is there one central bank that everybody works through, or all the banking systems are connected to WeChat? How does that work?
I think WeChat is almost like Apple Pay.
Oh, okay.
Ah.
Same way.
And that means it's connected. Whatever your bank is, that's connected to that, and that'll transfer your funds to wherever it needs to go. I think.
You see, like Apple Pay, you cannot use Apple Pay between friends, right? You can transfer. I don't know how transfer money between friends using Apple Pay, right?
That's like Cash App, like the same thing.
Yeah, but WeChat is a Cash App. You can just transfer money. But Cash App, you can't use it on a store. But WeChat is everywhere. WeChat is like Apple Pay everywhere, but it's also you can transfer money between friends.
I see.
Okay.
So I will say, if you want to learn what is hot, what's selling in China, you have to learn Chinese.
Yes.
And then you can see it on WeChat.
Because I downloaded and everything is in Chinese, so I'm in trouble.
So you need to learn Chinese. Hey, well, that's doable.
So, what I think Elon Musk bought Twitter, right?
Yes.
I think he wanted Twitter to become WeChat of the English world.
That's what he's trying.
Oh, so now I'm going to have to learn how to, because this WeChat is in Chinese. It's nothing in English.
Well, maybe see if maybe another app. They must have an English version.
It has to, because this one doesn't have any everything WeChat.
But also, I think, and then if you don't have any Chinese, maybe you won't have friends. Then they say, well, you won't use WeChat because you don't have a Chinese friend to use WeChat with.
That's some Chinese friends.
So I think you rely on a Chinese friend to verify for you.
Yeah.
They want to make sure you are a real person, not a bot.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But I'm in, and everything is. I'm puzzled why it's not in English. That is the mindset of
Because
America.
it's a Chinese app. So what do it need to be English for?
So they feel like you need a Chinese friend to verify you actually exist. So you are not a
Right.
computer.
So I'm going to have to meet with you. But then, still, how do I get it in English? How do I understand? I got to learn Chinese, everything. Okay.
Yeah, because a lot of the information, like a lot of product, is all in Chinese.
Ah.
So that's why what you see. So if you don't understand Chinese, you are only see a slice of the world.
Ah.
Wow.
So whatever some English speaking people put on a English platform, you can see, but you don't see the whole.
Okay.
So how long would you say it would take the average person to learn functional Chinese where they can, engage in basic conversation?
I think you start. I think if Chicago public schools teach in Chinese, take that program. You can probably spend maybe 6 months for basic, and then go to China for 3 months.
Ah, okay.
3 or 6 months, do a one semester, then you have a basic understanding.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
because
what's the cost?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I think that might be the quickest way. If you don't go to China, experience and see how the language is used over there, it make you take much longer. So you need to be in the environment, immersed in the language for like 6 months.
Now, there's a myth that says China does not like black people. I need you to expound on that, because there's a guy who does a YouTube video, and everywhere he go, he's in China or Japan. He's always in Asia or Taiwan or Shanghai.
Okay, well, just thinking, if you go to Canton, remember I said the city I visited and had to took a train for 66 hours to go back to my home.
Wow.
That city has Africa village, about 200,000 Africans doing business in there.
What's the name of that city again?
Guangzhou.
Spell it.
Guangzhou. Guangzhou.
Okay.
200,000 Africans.
Wow.
Living in there. So if you think China does not like black people, why those people chose to live and work and doing business there?
Right. That's a good question.
They
My
know
daughter's been all over. Yeah, my daughter's been all over Asia. She's been to, so many Asian countries, and that sounds like one she might have even visited. But
China do not have anti-black racism, but China has anti-black colorism. Just see my dad. Okay, my dad is Muslim, and he's a very dark skinned. And then I remember when my first job, my boss met my dad, and she came back to the offices and she said, "Oh my God, her dad is like an African."
Wow.
She thought my dad is from Africa because my dad is so dark skinned.
Wow.
And I'm to a lot of Chinese, I'm very dark skinned.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a lot of them are very pale, and my mom is on the other hand my mom is very fair skinned. So my mom and dad together is a black and white.
Okay.
Oh wow, that's
lots of colorism going on there.
Yeah.
What can one expect to spend in dollars, in U.S. dollars, if they were to go there and stay there 3 months to learn the language and the culture?
Depends where you're gonna be. If you want to be in Beijing and Shanghai, you're gonna spend like almost Chicago price, or still cheaper. I think maybe 80% of Chicago price. But if you go to like second tiers of cities, you probably can pay 50% of the price.
Wow.
And then you get the same quality of experience.
Second tier cities like what?
The city of Panda called Chengdu.
Chengdu.
Can you spell those, please?
CHENDU. And that's the city I took my girlfriend from Alabama, Oklahoma to before COVID. She
Oh.
absolutely loved it.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so we went to the park, and then we saw how the seniors spend their time. So the park offer a senior program for about $2. I think it's about maybe $2.50. You get a pot of tea, a table, and play mahjong all day. And
Wow.
Mahjong. What is that?
mahjong is, Rami Cube?
Who?
Oh, you probably don't know the game of Rami Cube, but mahjong is a Chinese, like the little brick, bro. It's, if you Google it, a lot of people play mahjong in America.
Spell it.
I think MAJ mahjong. JON, or like, okay, I have to look it up.
Chinese game. I'll Google it.
Okay, mahjong. JOUG. Okay, MAJONG. I think that's how MAJONG. Mahjong.
Okay.
And that's, so that's the price. I would highly recommend to go to Chengdu, even more than Beijing.
Oh.
Okay. Beijing reflects the life of Chinese royalty. It's because
wow.
it was the capital, it was the imperial palace, and this and that. But if you really want to learn about Chinese cultural values, go to Chengdu.
And I will post all of those resources on our blog at hln-tv.blogspot.com. It is 9:48. I have a meeting at 10 o'clock, a Zoom at 10 o'clock, so I need to prepare for that. We can go on and on and on and on. So, Zoe,
but I hope one thing I want to do, I would like if you have an opportunity to bring my mom.
Oh, that'd be
to
great.
this show.
That
Well,
would
she
be
doesn't
great.
speak English.
We can translate.
Yeah, I can translate, but I think my mom, her personal experience is the truth of China.
That would be fantastic.
That would be awesome.
From a very poor girl.
Wow.
To be a very content senior. Her life, her 80 years life in China.
That would be
under two governments.
Wow.
Two citizenship. Two citizenship on the same piece of land.
I'm sorry about that. She speaks English?
She said she
I can translate.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Very good.
Great history lesson. Yeah.
So what we will do is offline, we will schedule for the next show for you to be on, because this is fascinating. We got international flavor here. I want to thank you, Zoe Ma, for taking the time out of your schedule. And if need be, if you got to be in the car again, that's okay too. We don't mind.
All right, thank you.
This is worth it. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you, Zoe Ma, and thank you, our viewing audience, for listening and for watching and for sharing this video, because this is the kind of information that we need in order to move forward in America. What you're watching here on the screen is the Global Virtual Teen Talent Contest that is coming up this Saturday, 12 noon until 2 p.m. Actually, we're usually on for an hour, but we'll be broadcasting live with the female solution. So that's why you see that there. But we just have all kinds of awesome talent. So tune in this Saturday from 12 until 2. And if you would like to support, and we appreciate your support for working with us to offer our youth an alternative to standing on the corner, to utilize their natural gifts, talents, and abilities. So if you go to our YouTube page, you will see that the information there is the Global Virtual Teen Talent Contest. And please share that with someone, because we all know some children who could benefit from being a guest on the show. And you can text us if you need to reach us during the week. Text the word stress relief to 219-699-2114. And you can always reach us on the website higherlearningnetwork.org. Be sure and tune in tomorrow morning Self Care with Jody Susan. And she will be on from 7 until 9 a.m. I want to thank you all. Remember to check out the blog. Give me a few minutes to update the blog, and we can send you the information that you got here today on the show. Closing comments, Naima?
Well, I hope people were inspired. You know, you can even go on YouTube and get some basics in terms of different languages you want to learn. If you want to learn a bit of Chinese, if you can't do anything else in any other language, learn how to say thank you. Always express gratitude.
Yes.
And that shows respect for people as they extend their courtesies to you. We can create a more compassionate American culture. We can create a more respectful American culture. One person at a time. Each person living consciously can make a difference.
And until then, we'll see you tomorrow morning,
The Female Solution Global Radio TV Show invites you to an invigorating conversation with our team of hosts Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. Start your week with Monday Morning Mindfulness with ZeldaSpeaks. Tuesdays, Self-Care with Jody Susan. Wednesdays, Repairing Broken Families with Naima Latif and co-host Kareem Hamid. Thursdays, Soulful Solutions with Dr. Debbie Green. And Fridays, Health and Well-Being with Beata. Saturdays, tune in 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central Time. First Saturday, Success Strategies with Jana. Second Saturday, Wendy Williams Esquire on relationships. Third Saturday, Move Around with Deborah. And fourth Saturday, Wisdom with Mama D. Join us Sundays, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time for Soul Purpose Healing with Beata. Call in and comment 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak to the host and be a part of the solution.
Grand Rising, and thank you so much for joining me. I'm your host, ZeldaSpeaks, the stressologist. Any stress in your life? Well, most of us do. Unfortunately, we don't know what to do with that stress, especially as it relates to worry. I was once a worried about everything, and I finally figured it out with some training. Yeah, I've been certified with the American Society of Training and Development, National Speakers Association, and a host of others. But none of those organizations helped me stop worrying. They just gave me validation for the public to see what credentials I have. So the credentials I have now are from life experience, and I've learned how not to worry. And you can learn how not to worry too, because it is indoctrinated in us to worry. We don't have the answers, so we think the worst is going to happen. Well, I got a solution to that. And that is the Worry Workshop. So I'm going to pull that up for you on my blog. Why do you worry when you don't have to? Go to my blog, ZeldaSpeaks.wordpress.com, and you can sign up right there and find out how you. And remember, sharing is caring. Are you stressed out? Are you ready to learn some quick techniques on how to de-stress immediately? Then book your free 30-minute consultation with ZeldaSpeaks, the Mindfulness Stress Relief Coach, at higherlearningnetwork.org. Thanks for sharing. Are you stressed out?